Section 1.4 talks about exponents. So here we're going to figure out a couple of things. Okay, it tells us an exponent is a shorthand notation for repeated multiplication. So I want us to notice we're multiplying the number 3 here. We're multiplying the number 3 5 times. So we write this as 3 to the power 5. 3 is what we call the base. The exponent 5 is the number of times that we're multiplying 3 by itself. So the first few problems here say let's write using exponents. So again, we're multiplying the number 3. We're multiplying the number 3 4 times, so we'll write it as 3 to the 4th. Okay, the second problem, we're multiplying the number 5. We're multiplying the number 5 twice, so it'll be 5 squared. Okay. Now, looking at the third problem, I notice that I have two different bases. We have the number 2, we have the number 5. So first we're going to write 2, and it's 2 squared because we're multiplying 2 by itself twice. Then we're multiplying 5, and we're multiplying it by itself 3 times, so our answer would be 2 squared times 5 to the 3rd. Okay. We can apply the same principle, excuse me, we can apply the same principle to variables. So here we're multiplying the letter R. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 times. Okay. Even if we have a number with the variable, we're multiplying 2W, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. People often ask, do I need to write both the 2 and the W inside the parentheses? We do, because if you notice here, every one of them is inside parentheses, okay? All right. So our next step, we're going to evaluate. When we're evaluating, we're actually going to figure out the final answer. So 9 squared means 9 times 9, and we know 9 times 9 is just 81, right? So 7 to the 3rd means 7 times 7 times 7. So if I take my calculator again, right here, clear that out, we're going to go 7 times 7, that's 2, times 7, that's 3. If I hit equals, 343. Okay. All right. So the next problem here says parentheses, negative 5 squared. I want y'all to notice something. This problem here has parentheses. So I'm going to write my number inside parentheses. I'm writing it twice because it's to the second power. So a negative 5 times another negative 5 is a positive 25. We'll do the exact same thing here. Negative 3 in parentheses twice. A negative 3 times another negative 3 is a positive 9. All right. Now, when I look at the next problem here, this one does not have parentheses. What this is telling me is that the negative is going to be written down only once. The 2 is only being applied to the 7. So I can think of this as a negative 7 times a positive 7. That would give me a negative 49. Again, the square is only being applied to the 7, not to the negative, because it's not inside parentheses. Okay. Same thing with the next problem here. I'm going to write the negative. 2 times 2, and that gives us negative 4. Now, not every problem that we're going to have is going to be squared. You can see we have some here to the 3rd. And again, all this means is I'm going to write 2 over 5. I'm going to write it 3 times. So let's see, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 5 times 5 is 25, 25 times another 5, if I was thinking about 5 quarters, that would be 125. Okay. Now we have 0.7 to the 3rd. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my calculator right here. Let's clear that out. 0.7 times 0.7 times 0.7 equals 0.343. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's take a look at the next couple of problems here. We have 6 squared plus 2 to the third. So 6 squared, remember 6 squared means 6 times 6 is 36. 2 to the third, that means 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Now, if we just add these numbers together, 36 plus 8, that gives us a total of 44. Okay. 5 to the third. Remember, 5 to the third means 5 times 5 times 5. Again, think about that for a minute. 5 times 5, 25. 25 times another 5. Again, we said 5 quarters would give us 125. We know that 2 squared is 4. And 125 minus 4 leaves us with 121. Okay. Let's see, 14 squared. Let me grab my calculator. So 14 times 14, 196. 196 minus, okay, notice what we have here. We have negative 6 in parentheses. Negative 6 times another negative 6 is a positive 36. This minus sign is this minus sign right here. So I'm not changing that. I'm just going to go ahead and subtract. 196 minus 36 leaves me with a total of 160. Okay. And the next problem here, negative 5 to the third. So we already know that 5 to the third is 125. So negative 5 to the third, let's see, that's a positive 25 times a negative 5 is a negative 125. Okay. Negative 2 to the third. Negative 2, negative 2, negative 2. It's a positive 4 times a negative 2. That is a negative 8. So now what we're going to do, we're going to multiply these two numbers together. Notice a negative times a negative. So the first thing I'm going to do is I already know my answer will be positive, right? 125 times 8, 1,000. And that is section 1.4.